Hi everyone and welcome to Sports Watch. If you like the content, please press the bell icon for further notifications and like, share and subscribe to the channel. Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic is scheduled to take place on November 16th in UFC 309. Now it's official, but the question is, can a 44-year-old Stipe Miocic put up any kind of fight against one of the greatest MMA fighters in history? Stipe is widely considered to be the greatest heavyweight champion of the UFC, while Jon is considered to be the greatest fighter that has ever lived. Between the two of them, the fight would have been a spectacle had it occurred a few years earlier. But now, both of them are way past their primes. Jon is 36 years old and hasn't fought in 1.5 years. Stipe is 44 years old and last fought 4 years ago, that too against Francis Ngannou. He hasn't been active in 4 years, and his last fight was a knockout loss to Francis. The two fights with Ngannou has taken a lot out of Stipe. So the question remains, what kind of shape will Stipe come into the fight against Jones? Will the fight be competitive at all? Stipe's best years are certainly behind him, and if you aren't active for 4 years, the competition passes you by. This whole fight should not be taking place, but Jon wants to fight for his legacy. He has spoken that this might be his final time in the octagon. One thing is for sure, Jones doesn't want to face interim heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall. Jones was in the sphere last weekend at UFC 306. He looked big and in shape. He even faced off with light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira. It was a fight that some time back people wanted to see, but now it's almost certain that it will never take place. Even Pereira has said that if he can't fight Jones, he can at least train with him. He might train with him for the Stipe fight. It has been quite a long amount of time since anyone saw Stipe. He is grinding away. People have forgotten about him, and he needs to remind everyone that he is one of the greatest to do it. He has to be in top-notch fighting condition if he has to have a semblance of chance against Jon Jones. Age and inactivity are the biggest hurdles in his way. While a time off was required to heal himself from the devastating knockout to Francis Ngannou, a tune-up fight would have been ideal before taking the biggest challenge in your career. But at this point of time, Stipe has nothing left to prove. His legacy is already cemented. But can he pose any threat to Jones? For starters, one wonders that his wrestling would hold up better than Cyril Gane's did. But Jones made light work of great wrestlers like DC. But he does struggle with guys who are of his same size. Dominic Reyes, Alexander Gustafsson, Thiago Santos all caused him problems. So that could be a positive for Stipe. But Jones always fights to the level of his opponents. It's no secret that he will be extra motivated for this fight. Stylistically, it's a fight that is tailor-made for Jon Jones. Stipe is mostly a boxer, so Jones doesn't need to worry about the kicks coming his way. He isn't the fighter fastest either, so Jon will see everything. And Stipe doesn't usually wrestle in his fights. Certainly not against Jon, so it's going to be pretty straightforward. He will have the range advantage. He doesn't have to worry about the kicks coming his way. With his IQ, it seems almost impossible for Stipe to get away with anything. The only difference is the power. Stipe does have the power and usually finishes his opponents. But then, every fighter has power. But Stipe is a proper heavyweight. He has been competing in heavyweight since his early days, and Jones has had just one fight in heavyweight and is slowly growing into his heavyweight frame. So that might be an advantage for Stipe. It will be interesting to see what kind of game plan both fighters employ to get their hands raised. The odds are definitely in Jon Jones' favor. If Jones wins, there will be no doubt as to who is the greatest martial artist in the history of MMA. But what happens if Stipe wins? If Stipe Miocic somehow manages to win against Jon Jones, then he will also go down in history as the only guy to have defeated Jones in the octagon and one of the greatest fighters to ever step foot in the UFC. Imagine doing it at 44 years of age and after being out of the ring for 4 years. It's a double-edged sword for Jones as well. If he loses to Stipe, then it is a huge question mark against in his heavyweight career. People will think that he would have had no chance against Tom Aspinall. Let me know in the comment section what you feel. And if you like the content, please like, share and subscribe to the channel.